New York mayor's race latest. Mamdani, Cuomo pick up endorsements as new polls released.
Stretch of the heated New York City mayoral race, and the latest poll shows it might not be much of a contest.
Well, could it be?
Yep, new polls came out today, ladies and gentlemen. All of the freakouts. Latest poll from Pix 11 News, Emerson poll, The Hill shows Zohran Mamdani with a 25-point lead over Andrew Cuomo in the race for New York mayor. Zohran Mamdani at 50%, Andrew Cuomo at 25%, Curtis Sliwa at 21%. The polls also show that over the age of 50 are breaking. Voters over the age of 50 are breaking for Zohran Mamdani over Andrew Cuomo. This is a key demographic that Cuomo has zeroed in on. A lot of you successfully were able to get your parents and your grandparents, maybe, to vote for Zohran Mamdani. And that makes me very happy. It seems. But once again, this is not time. This is not time to feel comfortable. You have to act as though he is 5 points behind, not 25 points ahead or 20 points ahead. Remember that. Game's not over yet. The poll had Cuomo ahead, had me in a mood, and I live in CA. No, Cuomo wasn't ahead at any poll, but Cuomo had seemingly cut the lead from 20 to 10. Chris Paul style. Chris Paul makes key three to cut the lead down to 42. You know, that was what was going on. And the betting markets were going crazy over it. Okay, huge three by Chris Paul. They're eliminating the secular Jews and Christians from the data. This is how they got Mamdani's numbers down with the Jewish voters. You ask their religious faith, not how they identify culturally. If it's with the latter, he wins. If it's the former, he loses badly because they're all more right-wing. Wait, what? Christians and Jews make up 67% of New York's population. Muslims make up 4%. Total other is 32%. We're supposed to believe a poll saying Mamdani's losing with that 67% and still has a strong lead over Cuomo. Yeah, the Quinnipiac poll was so fried. This Quinnipiac poll was like the inverse of what we've seen from past campaign performance in the primary. It made no damn sense. It made no damn sense. And I told you this when we saw this. I was like, this doesn't make any sense at all. This is quite literally the opposite of what the primary voter patterns look like. And not only did the primary voter patterns look bad or look exactly the inverse of this, that it just doesn't make sense when looking at direct polls, like affinity polls that pertain to what New York voters of different faiths care about, okay? It was bullshit. And I guess they tried to massage the numbers here. They're eliminating secular Jews and Christians in the data. This is how they got Mamdani's numbers down with Jewish voters. Yeah, I forget it was something like that. I wanted to point out how absurd the poll was. They're using the polls that eliminate liberals and seculars, basically, most likely because the two polls showing Mamdani leading with Jewish voters were embarrassing, so it became exclusively religious, not cultural. Anyway, let's get back to this.
Robert Moses, what's going on?
Yeah, Kurt and Rosanna, very encouraging news for Zohran Mamdani this morning. There are two new polls just out this morning that show he may be running away with this race. Let's start with an Emerson College Pix 11, The Hill poll of likely voters. It shows Mamdani up 50% to 25% over former Governor Andrew Cuomo, a 25 percentage point spread. Republican Curtis Sliwa gets 21%, 4% remain undecided. A second poll also out today, a Marist poll, shows Mamdani getting 48%, Cuomo 32%, Sliwa 16%, just 3% remain undecided. These polls today follow a Quinnipiac survey yesterday that shows Mamdani up by 10 percentage points. So we have between a 10 and 25 percentage point spread here between these three polls. The United Bodegas of America yesterday endorsed Mamdani despite expressing concerns over the summer that his plan to open city-run grocery stores could put bodegas out of business. Mamdani says not to worry, there is room for both sorts of establishments in the city.
Some of the highest points of revenue in a bodega have to do with cigarette sales, lottery sales. These are not the things that a city is interested in making it easier for New Yorkers to purchase. What we are speaking about are groceries at a very small scale that will be done alongside supporting these bodegas.
And because of the United Bodegas of America's endorsement, the co-founder, Fernando Mateo, announced his resignation from the organization. Mateo, a Republican, said the president of the association violated the group's nonprofit status by endorsing a political candidate. Meantime, Cuomo was on Staten Island, a Republican stronghold, to criticize Mamdani for posting this picture of him making an obscene gesture.
Bro, this guy! Yo! This this fucking guy. He loves his fucking cutouts, dude. Damn, banger after banger. Oh my Lord. Banger after banger from the Cuomo team. What will they do next? Oh! We know the last time he busted out the IRL printouts, it was your boy. It feels like he just gave up on that. Dude, go back to it. You were killing it, Cuomo. Talk about how Zohran Mamdani hung out one time with Hassan, who also is known as Hasanabi. What happened? What happened, bro? Zohran Mamdani. We need to stop Zohran Mamdani. We must stop him. What are we looking at? This is a old tweet of Zohran Mamdani flipping the bird during COVID at the I was gonna say Christopher Columbus statue, Columbo. And he's saying like, this is Italiaphobia. This is Italiaphobia. Zorad Baba Doobie. Why don't you go back to your TikTok musics instead of doing politics? You're done. You're done. You're done with your phobia. Yeah, Italiaphobia is no laughing matter.
In front of a statue of Christopher Columbus back in 2020. Cuomo says it's offensive to Italian Americans. The former governor.
How is this real? How is this real? I can't believe that this is the fucking campaign's last-ditch effort, bro. That is crazy. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's so fucking stupid. In this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. Oh my Lord, bro. What the fuck?
Picked up some endorsements of his own, namely, former Mayor Mike Bloomberg is backing Cuomo, just as he did in the primary. Democratic Congressman Tom Suozzi of Long Island also endorsed the former governor. So, too, did Hudson Valley Congressman Mike Lawler, who's a Republican, who called Cuomo, quote, the lesser of two evils. And speaking of Republicans.
Can you think of, like, and I mean this sincerely, can you think of a single New Yorker that would be like even in fucking Staten Island, where they'd be like, which one is a better campaign message? Fast and free buses, universal child care, rent freeze for rent control departments, or like, versus we must protect Christopher Columbus and his integrity. Like, this is so unimaginably stupid.
Cuomo again called on the Republican nominee, Sliwa, to drop out.
I don't believe he's a viable candidate, but I believe he serves as a spoiler and can make a difference that way. I think a vote for Curtis Sliwa is a vote for Zohran Mamdani.
First, I'm not dropping out. Number two, if a Mack truck hit me and I was turned into a speed bump out here, I'm still on the ballot.
Voting, more than 372,000 New Yorkers have cast their ballots. At this time 4 years ago, by comparison, more than 72,000 had. So turnout is still running at more than 5 times the rate we saw back in 2021. I guess the question, though, is the influx product of Mamdani enthusiasm, or are these Mamdani protest votes? We'll find out next week. Kurt, back to you.
In just 5 days.